The CAGED system shows us how to navigate all around the neck by using some notes that are hanging around the chord shapes that we already know and love. Hello, welcome back to the channel on our continuing voyage to become better guitar players. My name is Mark and this is the second lesson in the CAGED system. What we're going to be looking at today is, in lesson 1 we already learned all the shapes around the neck. Now the best thing about this is that those chord shapes, they have notes that kind of hang around the chords, and we can use those to build melody lines and little solo and ideas and things. So that's what we're going to be looking at today. This means we can learn how to navigate the whole neck without having to learn what notes are on the neck. We just use these chord shapes and the notes that kind of, as I say, just kind of hang around the chords. Okay, so in this lesson we're going to be all in the key of C for the whole lesson. There's no tab with this lesson. There will be in subsequent lessons, but not with this one. I'm just going to show you the chords and the notes. So we're going to start with our shape 1, our open C shape, like this. Okay, and the notes that kind of hang around with there. Well, there's basically 2 notes on every string. So we get the note of the chord plus another one. So I'll put a diagram on screen, but basically around the open C shape, I'll do from top string to bottom string, we have okay, so we've just kind of learned a scale. And the problem with learning scales, as I always say, is we've now just learned 12 notes. We don't know which are the good notes, which ones are the less good notes, which ones we should focus on, which ones we should just use as passing tones. But that's where the CAGED system is really great, because if you see the chord shape on the top of those notes, what the notes that form the chord are the ones we want to spend the most amount of time on, and the other ones we just kind of want to use as passing tones. Okay, so these notes, they are going to be the ones we're going to spend the most amount of time on, and those other notes we're kind of just going to use as passing notes to get between those. And we can build those around playing the chords as well. Okay, second shape then. We use the A shape here. And the notes that kind of hang around here, again, I'll do top string to bottom string. And again, these are the notes that we want to focus on. And the other ones we just use as stepping stones to kind of get between those main notes. Okay, next shape then, where we have our G shape. Remember this one? Which I said nobody is ever going to ask us to play, but it's really good because it shows us, again, notes that we can use to solo with. Again, 2 notes per string. Okay, now you might recognize that pattern. That's, don't worry, we'll come back to it. It's quite a famous guitar shape for soloing with. We'll come back to that thought in a moment. now we're going to move up to our E shape. And again, remember, we're focusing on the notes that form the chord. And the other notes are just passing notes that we can use between those main chord tones. Okay, the D shape then, this one here, or to play its full chord, and the shape that goes with this. Okay, so the important thing with this is that each of those chord shapes has notes that kind of hang around with them. Don't think of them as a scale, although we probably need to learn them kind of like as a scale, as a shape. But the most important thing is to be able to see the scale, but see the chord tones on top, because they're our most important. The most important notes that we want to focus on. So you might have recognized the finger patterns there, because actually they are the 5 box positions of pentatonic. So when we went through this G chord here, sorry, C chord in the G shape, and we played this scale, you might have recognized that as the A minor pentatonic. Well, I'm not going to go into the details now, but A minor pentatonic, C major pentatonic are exactly the same. So what we've actually done is, in those 5 shapes, we've played the C major pentatonic scale all over the neck, just by knowing these 5 chord shapes that make up the CAGED system. Okay, so that was lesson 2. Lesson 3 is then we're going to apply this to things other than major chords, like 7th chords, and this is where things get really bluesy. So I'll leave you with me jamming through the C7 chord, and a big thanks to the Patreon supporters who make all this possible, and for that they actually get a lot more videos in this series. They don't just get the main lessons, they get some extra practice videos and some additional lessons as well. Okay, so here is C7 CAGED all up and down the neck.